This is the Gary Bushell Show on wonderful Radio Litopia.
Good evening, culture lovers. You're listening to the Gary Bushell Show here on wonderful Radio Litopia, the internet equivalent of Hyde Park Corner. On this show, we fly the flag for free speech, free thinking, and radical opinions, and they don't get more provocative than my guest tonight. Louise Distras is the new face of working class punk, embodying the spirit of Joe Strummer and Kurt Cobain. She's a rock and roll Rosa Luxemburg from Wakefield, who comes with a clenched fistful of fury about youth unemployment, apathy, and X-Factor culture. Her new album, Dreams from the Factory Floor, is out now, and her debut single, The Hand You Hold, was, she says, an anthem for female empowerment. Louise, welcome, but tell me, outside of the Godfrey Bloom fan club, is being a woman such a big impediment these days? I mean, everywhere we look we see powerful women, from Angela Merkel to Madonna. There's Dilma Rousseff in Brazil, Sonia Gandhi, Christine Lagarde. Hillary Clinton could be the next US president. You've won this battle already, haven't you?
Well, I think it's a battle that's going to be going on for a long time, really, you know. And we are surrounded by a lot of amazing women in power, but these, you know, like you said, like Hillary Clinton or whoever, you know, but the fact is that women, you know, of all race, genders and class are firstly judged on what they look like, you know, rather than what they say and what they do. And this is the reason why I wrote, you know, my debut single, The Hand You Hold.
Are men not also judged by how they look these days? I mean, there's this idea, this stereotypical idea of the guy, you have to have the perfect six-pack and you have to be groomed down, all this ridiculous extreme male grooming, you see.
I feel that for women, you know, women are primarily judged on their youth and their sexual appeal, whereas a man will be judged on his achievements and his machismo and his strength, you know. So I definitely believe that there's a lot of social pressures on both sexes, for sure.
And that judging, you think that's done by the media or by everybody, is it?
I think, you know, it's consumerist, you know, because having insecurities is a very profitable business, you know, for these companies. We, you know, with their beauty products and weight loss products, you know, because, you know, and if we were a generation of, you know, of young people that weren't walking around feeling like crap about ourselves, then we wouldn't be buying their products. So
they need you to feel down, they need you to feel lousy, and they need you to feel that you need to spend fortunes on their... I mean, the whole culture is dominated by corporations and their admin, aren't they, really? You're being told what to think, what to wear, what you need. In a way, it's what Jagger wrote about in the 60s when in Satisfaction. It is about... you need to be something more than you are.
For sure, as well. And also, that, you know, feeling the need to be something more than what we are in order to feel accepted, you know, or in order to gain cool points or whatever. But also, you know, with the culture we live in, you know, we're indoctrinated into this system, you know, where we're constantly looking for other people above us, you know, for the answers in life or for acceptance, when, you know, the reality is that we have the answers within ourselves, you know. So that's why I'm singing, you know, in the chorus to the song, never let the hand you hold you down, and always...
Yeah, it's a great line, that.
Yeah, you know, to try and, you know, empower people, you know, with the self-belief that we are in control of our own minds and our own bodies and our own opinions and our thoughts, and we should never ask anybody else for permission to simply be ourselves.
Have you feel been the victim of prejudice on the basis of your gender?
Yeah, no, I don't feel like a victim. I feel like a survivor of the experiences that I've had. And yeah, I mean, for sure, you know, sexism is prevalent in, you know, in music as well as, you know, every other aspect of life, you know, with the fact that, you know, that there's women, even with the fact that women still get paid less than men, you know. But yeah, in music it's a very male-dominated environment. But for me, I don't see myself at a disadvantage or as being a victim or as being special, you know. And I think if I did see myself as being a victim or at any kind of disadvantage because I'm a woman, then I feel as though that would be a defeatist attitude to have, and that I would be failing at the first hurdle, to be honest. So I just kind of don't think about it. And it's other people that have a problem with it, you know. It's not me. And if they've got a problem with it, well, then, you know, that's not mine.
Certainly since you've been doing it, I believe that you've had problems with trolls on the internet. And
yeah, for sure. But I mean, but the way I kind of look at it is that, you know, if I'm not pissing people off, then I'm not doing it right. So.
And of course, you stand in a fine tradition. I mean, just in this country, it's not that long ago that Billy Bragg was doing a similar sort of thing with his Patrick Fitzgerald. That same mixture of what I would call acoustic punk or folk with attitude, whatever you want to call it, what you do.
Yeah.
Do you feel an affinity to those guys?
People are always trying to pigeonhole me, you know, and they'll say, "Oh, how do you feel about standing in a line of a tradition of protest singers or whatever, you know?" But I don't view myself as a protest singer. I view myself as a 26-year-old working class woman from Wakefield, you know, passing on the message of the new generation, you know. And I'm just the same as everybody else. I've got the same hopes and dreams for a fairer life and for a better future as just everyone else.
So who would you say your major influences were? Who were the people who helped shape the person you became musically?
I would say there's just one influence, really, and my single greatest influence ever has been Kurt Cobain from Nirvana. And Bleach, their first album was the album that changed my life, and the album that made me pick up a guitar, you know. And that's the thing about music, you know, as we already know, it's a very, very, very powerful force, and it can change the world, and it can change our worlds, you know. I mean, picking up a guitar and teaching myself how to play, you know, gave me the space that I craved as a teenager, you know, to be myself on my own terms and to create, you know, and without prejudice. So yeah.
The industry, if we can still talk about a rock industry, I mean, it seems to have reacted well to you. I mean, you played the left field stage at Glastonbury.
Yeah.
You supported the Street Dogs across Europe. You've got a fantastic tour of Canada coming up. You're knocking on an open door to a degree, it looks like, or is it harder than it seems?
I mean, for me, I don't really see what's going on around me, you know. I'm just completely 100% focused on what I'm doing and on, you know, and on the record coming out on Monday, you know. So I'm not really aware of how other people see it, but also I don't really want to be, you know, because I view it as a distraction for what I'm doing, you know. I'm not really interested in any of these so-called privileges that have motivation for other people's reason for writing songs, you know. I'm just focused on passing the message on.
Do you want to play us one of your songs? That would be good. Do you want to give us a quick...
I think I'm going to play Stand Strong Together, which is the first song from Dreams from a Factory Floor. The music that brings us together is the same thing that tears us apart. Stand strong together with unity in your hand. Voice in the streets sells broken lies. Shoulder to shoulder, stand in line. Stand in line. Sky of your heart, you cannot fight. The day has fallen into night. Into the night. They put us down in every way. It only makes us stronger every single day. Broken window, scar tattoo, waging war on the chosen few. You are punk, you are skin. If you fight, the government wins. It's your life, don't give in. Unite and win. Born original, loyal and true. Waging war on the chosen few. The music that brings us together is the same thing that tears us apart. Stand strong together with unity in your heart. The music that brings us together is the same thing that tears us apart. Stand strong together with unity in your heart. The music that brings us together is the same thing that tears us apart. Stand strong together with unity in your heart. Breaking rules in every way. The working classes here to stay with unity in our heart. The music that brings us together is the same thing that tears us apart. Stand strong together with unity in your heart. Breaking rules in every way. The working classes here to stay. Breaking rules in every way with unity in our hearts.
Thank you. Unity. How do you see the unity coming about? Is there any, for example, are there any current politicians you think can connect with people, or are they? Seems to me that more and more politicians are in this little Westminster bubble, and they can't actually communicate with ordinary people anymore.
I think that, you know, the agenda all around for politicians and the media is to divide us, because if we are divided, then we're too busy arguing with each other. Then we are not pointing the finger at those in power and holding them accountable, you know, for the crimes that they're committing against us.
I remember back in the 60s, and obviously a long time before you were born, when the mods and rockers were fighting in the early 60s, the Young Socialists gave out a leaflet saying mods and rockers must unite to fight the Tories, which, although probably ideologically true, was unlikely to have happened. Do you actually feel optimistic, or do you think pessimistic about the future?
I definitely feel optimistic about the future, for sure. I mean, I just think it's a case of just raising consciousness and passing on a message as to how these politicians and how the media operates, you know, and like I was saying about, you know, even back to the hand you hold, you know, and about. Yeah, what I'm trying to say is, you know, it's like if we're too busy worried about what other people think of us, you know, or the way that we look and picking on each other, or what, you know, there's a million reasons for us to be divided and not get along. But if we're raising consciousness of that and turning people on to why that's happening, then I think, you know, one by one. The
chosen few, presumably the real enemy, are the people who own the means of production, who manipulate, the media and all the other agencies in their power to keep us divided and split up.
For sure.
How do you beat someone like that?
For me, I personally believe that everything starts with the way that we view ourselves and the way that we treat each other, and then it starts, you know, it's like a domino effect, because, you know, again, how can we hold these people accountable, you know, if we're insecure, you know, if we're feeling like shit about ourselves, or, you know, or we're fighting against each other. So it's
in some way a bottom-up movement rather than a socialism from below.
If we give ourselves the space, you know, and accept one another and tolerate one another, you know, and understand each other, you know, and our differences, and embrace our differences and our individuality, you know, then, you know, there's a lot more open-mindedness there, you know, which, like I said, it's like a domino effect, you know. That's what I believe anyway, you know.
And again, just playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
When we've had societies that have called themselves socialist, when you've had state-run economies in the Eastern Bloc, in China, in Cuba, it's been very bad for individual liberties. It's been very bad for. It's not been great for the people who were in whose name it was all taking place. How do you stop that reoccurring, that abuse of power, when the state's in charge? It seems every bit as bad as when the corporations are in charge.
By saying no. And I think it's quite simple, you know. I really do believe, you know. I mean, I've said it before, you know, like the kind of language that politicians use and that the media uses, you know, it's confusing, and it's deliberately put that way to confuse us so that we become apathetic about what's happening and that we switch off from it, you know. But I really don't believe that someone needs a degree in politics or sociology or whatever, you know, to figure out what's the difference between what's right and wrong, you know. If somebody believes that something is wrong, then they should say no and not be afraid to use their voice. But this is a thing. People do seem afraid to use their voice because society tells us that if we speak out, you know, against the mob mentality, that we're a geek, or, you know, we're killing the party, or that we're square, or whatever, you know. So people feel less inclined because they're going to be ostracised from their group.
The problem I feel that happens is it isn't so much evil people, it's good people doing the wrong thing. They've done everything from the goodness of their heart, and it's just had terrible consequences. When the Bolsheviks seized power in 1917, they didn't mean to impose Stalinist terror on people, but it happened.
Right.
When people followed Mao, I'm sure they didn't think he was going to be the head of a mass starvation and all the other nonsense. I mean, I think that people have good intentions, but the reality distorts it. I just wonder how you safeguard against that.
Well, I mean, what's kind of running through my head is that we put these people in power anyway. So for me, the way I live my life, you know, I don't believe in looking to anybody else for the answers, you know, any governments, religions, you know, whatever. You know, I like, as I said earlier, I believe, you know, that the answers are within ourselves, you know, and we put these people in power, these people in power commit crimes, but then people complain about it.
And don't do anything.
Yeah, and they don't do anything because they're indoctrinated not to do anything about it for the reasons, you know, like I said earlier.
In The Guardian, they said quite rightly that you put anger back into music. One of the things you're angry about, of course, is the X Factor.
Yeah.
Less seriously than Chairman Mao. But yeah, the X Factor. What is it about the X Factor that annoys you so much?
Well, aside from the fact that it paints the most wrong picture of how the music industry operates, it's more the fact that I believe that the X Factor celebrates a culture of bullying, and that culture of bullying filters down into everyday life and perpetuates the divides, and that's my biggest problem with it. You know, the X Factor to me is not a talent show. You know, it's a show where people go on a stage and everyone laughs at them for no reason. So they encourage people who haven't got the talent, who think they have, deluded people, to come up just so everyone else can point a finger and have a good laugh at their expense. I don't so much. It's not the contestants that I have a problem with, you know, but because it's back to that thing, you know, people. Everyone's got a dream, you know, whether they want to drive a train or whether they want to sing or whatever it is, you know. And there's nothing wrong with having that dream and striving to make your dreams a reality, you know. But people like Simon Cowell, you know, they know that they can exploit that in people, you know, and exploit that good side of people. And you know, I've been around people when they've been watching X Factor in their house, and they're just laughing at people and they're shouting crash and burn, you know, at the TV, and it's like all over the media, you know. It's showing people crashing and burning, like, oh, this woman's got stretch marks, this woman's fat, or this person's got a drug addiction, or this person's getting divorced and their life's falling apart, and it's almost, you know, it's another very, very profitable, you know, business, you know. Because there's nothing that people like to see more than other people crashing and burning, because ultimately it makes us feel better about our own lives. But for me, rather than watching someone crash and burn to make me feel better, I'd just rather go out and try and make my life better somehow. I've got two takes on it, because I was watching it last weekend, and you see three brothers, fantastic voices. Yeah. They're packing in a factory. And I'm thinking, well, good for them that these guys from a factory have got their dream, they're going to be on TV and they might have a chance at a career. But the other side of me is thinking, X Factor is so suffocatingly narrow. It so says, this is what pop is and nothing else counts as pop. And you just think, well, all these great people, from Dylan or Buddy Holly, all these people, they wouldn't have got past these idiot judges. No. They'd have said, well, Bob Dylan, you can't sing. Buddy Holly, we'll get rid of them glasses. You know, it would have been like that, wouldn't it? They wouldn't. It's so absolutely limited in what it thinks pop can be. The word that's springing to mind for me, maybe it's not the right word, homogenised. Yeah. Is that right?
Yeah.
It's very sanitised. It's very safe, you know, much like the rest of all the old shit that's in the charts.
It's all right if you sound like Beyonce, you're fine. If you sound like Justin Timberlake, it was for years, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's just extremely plain and extremely soulless, you know, and
it's taken pop back to the bad old days of Tim Penally, where everything was controlled by moguls. Right. And good-looking young people will be brought up and said, you'll sing this, you'll do that, you're our puppets. They'll have a little career, but the only people making money are those moguls.
Yeah, but you used the term good-looking, you know, and it's going back to what does it matter what we look like? No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter. Why, you know?
You never stop Lemmy.
Like I hear girls at my shows, you know, and they come and speak to me and they say, I really want to play guitar and I really want to write songs, you know, but I'm scared people aren't going to take me seriously because of how I look, you know, because I think I'm fat or because of whatever, you know. And how is the way that someone looks conducive to them expressing themselves on their own terms and being creative? It doesn't make sense.
I think in a wider rock field that people don't think like that. I mean, I don't think, well, certainly Meatloaf wasn't the archetype of alpha male, was he? He wasn't the super fit looking individual. Janis Joplin probably wasn't anyone's idea of a dream woman should look like or whatever.
But it's for media, and it's people like Simon Cowell who create these unachievable expectations of what a dream woman or a dream man is supposed to look like anyway.
But then Cowell, if he was sitting here, and one month maybe he will be, Cowell, if he was sitting here, would say, well, I created Susan Boyle, I created Paul Potts. Where am I imposing an image thing on there?
Maybe it's just like it's a vanity project, you know. That's what it is. It's like it's just going, oh well, you know, see, we're not prejudiced, you know, because we can do this or whatever, you know. But then look what happened to Susan Boyle. She totally had a breakdown because of what she was exposed to, and this is the reality of it, you know. The X Factor and the process in which people are living their dream, you know, how they think they're living their dream. It's fake and it's an illusion. It's just a total illusion. It
hangs people out to dry, that's for sure. And if you if you're a little bit wonky mentally to start with, you are going to get ripped apart.
Yeah, I think you've definitely got to really know your own mind before you put yourself into that situation. I don't even know why anybody would want to be famous or why anybody would want to expose themselves to that anyway. It's just, yeah.
I certainly don't understand the logic of it, because if you've got a good voice in one particular genre, it doesn't mean you can particularly sing ABBA songs or you'd be any good in Beatles Week or whatever nonsense they do.
So some of my favourite vocalists are people who like technically, well, by X Factor standards, can't sing and can't play, you know.
Who would they be? Can you tell us who?
Well, okay, right. The singers I really love to listen to, obviously Kurt Cobain. I really like Tim Armstrong. I think his voice is incredible. I like Texas Terry Bomb. I don't know if many people on this show have heard of Texas Terry Bomb.
They should look around.
Yeah, for sure, you know. But even like for example with Kurt Cobain, as far as his guitar playing was concerned, he was rubbish. You know, he wasn't like Joe Satriani or whatever. But the fact is that you don't need to be good. You know, you don't need to be
technically brilliant.
Brilliant to write a good song. You know, a good song is a good song because it means something and it's got a heart. You know, and it's got a tune, or you can tap your foot or whatever.
And that first Nirvana album was just amazing.
Yeah.
Mind-blowing in its impact.
Yeah, for sure. I think Paper Cuts from Bleach was the first song I learned how to play, and I remember my brother actually, like, because I played violin and my brother had one of those old crappy nylon string Argos acoustic guitars, and he gave up because it was too hard, and I didn't even know how to tune it. But, you know, because the song's like going duh, 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 so it sounded in tune to me, and I'm just there using one finger, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm playing guitar.
Could you still do it now?
I don't know, it's kind of like... I don't know, but who cares, you know? Maybe maybe wrong notes are more interesting than the right ones, for sure.
It certainly can be, yeah.
So, you know, who's anybody to say that, you know, it's whoever is good or whoever is bad, you know? It's an expression, and I don't see why it just should be so sanitised like that, you know?
How about giving us another one of your songs?
Yeah, I'm going to play a song. I don't know which song to play. I know what I'm going to play a song about. I'm going to play the song Bullets, because that is actually about the first guitar that I ever played. And I saved all my money and I got a Jaguar, a Fender Jaguar, because I wanted to be like Kurt Cobain, you know. Well, I didn't, but yeah, okay, I'll just say I did. And anyway, like, basically my mum just hated the fact that I was discovering myself, basically, you know, experimenting and finding out who I am. So basically she smashed up my guitar to teach me a lesson, you know. Yeah, and to try and kick me back into line. But
how old were you then?
I was 13, and I watched her smash it on the back step of the house, and I remember saying to her, "It's a Fender, it's not going to break," and I just laughed at her. You know, I didn't feel too bad. But you know, if it would have worked, then I wouldn't be here today. So, so there's a lesson learned. Never listen to your parents. Okay.
Love
shut you down. And my dead man's bullet shut you down, shut you down. And for all the tears that they made us cry, and all the times we died inside, they'll never keep us
down. Thank you. Obviously, the thing you notice is that the lyrics and the message are twinned with good melody lines. There's good songs there.
Thank you.
Is that something that's important to you? The idea that you have to give people something they can sing along to, or
For sure.
cash in your mind.
Yeah, I love punk rock. I like hardcore. You know, I even like like heavy metal. I like all sorts of different types of music. You know, but I was brought up on pop music. You know, but my mum listened to ELO and the Bee Gees and Queen, even Bon Jovi, or maybe I shouldn't admit, but I don't know. You know, so I love pop melody. You know, yeah, I guess it shows, you know, and I think. Can we start the question again?
Going off at a tangent, I've got to say, I mean, ELO, just geniuses.
Yeah.
And you're watching that thing on telly, the Peaky Blinders show, which I think is pretty good on BBC, and I think, well, but why they got the American blues when it's set in England in the 20s, no, just after the First World War? Why aren't they playing Birmingham music?
Do you know, I remember when I was 16, you know, I remember thinking to myself, why do so many English bands sing in American accents? It's really annoying. You're from Sheffield or you're from Wakefield or whatever, you know. You know, and they'll be saying like, oh, I'm going to the mall to drink a soda with my girlfriend, and it's like, right, well, I'm from Wakefield, so it's going to be, I'm off to shopping mall to drink a can of pop with my bird, you know, and I think that's, it's better that way, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
And besides, you know, some people might disagree, but, you know, but British invented rock and roll. You know, we've got the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, The Clash.
Chuck Berry might have a disagreement, but carry on.
Yeah, for sure. But you know, there's a lot of good bands that have come out of this country. You know,
absolutely punching above our weight, I think.
Yeah, and ELO, one of them for sure. You know, and I haven't seen the documentary that you're talking about, but I know what you mean. But I'm a real big fan of Jeff Lynne.
The funny thing is, of course, if you go to America, they actually like English people to be English, and they like aspects of English culture. They don't particularly want us to try and sound like them.
Yeah. Oh, no. Yeah.
Which I find it strange when you hear all these punk bands across Europe singing in English. Why don't you sing in your own language? Come on. It's your message for you. You don't have to try and appeal to us.
Yeah. I guess that's the thing about punk, though, you know. I mean punk's so widespread, you know, and I'm trying to think. I was trying to think the other day, you know, what has been the last band of my generation that sparked a movement like what punk did, you know, before I was born, and I really can't think of one except Nirvana, but that's before my time because I'm 26 now. I
mean, I guess you could say the Britpop in the 90s was the last, wasn't it?
Yeah, maybe so, but I don't know. Not for me anyway. Maybe for other people, but I don't really particularly.
No, Oasis wouldn't turn on. You didn't. Oasis didn't work for you.
No, it's weird though actually because I'll say that I don't like Oasis, but then somebody will put an Oasis record on and I'll realise that I actually like it, but I'm not sure if I like it because it was rammed down my throat, you know, when I was a kid, and it's just one of those things like, you know, it's just buried somewhere.
What was it about Kurt Cobain that was so special? What was it that touched you in what they were doing, Nirvana?
I don't know. I just heard the music, you know, and like for me, if I'm not like a casual fan of any kind of band. Like if I like a band, I like get really, really obsessed about them. So I heard Bleach, and then I'm thinking, right, I really want to find out more about this band, and I started finding out more about him, you know, and I just really like his whole kind of like anti-hero, you know, like having no idols, no hierarchy, you know, kind of thing. You know, it's just no bullshit. It's just completely stripped back, and it's not pretentious. It doesn't try and be anything else other than it is.
I read somewhere, and I'm not sure where now, but I did read somewhere that your granddad had said to you about Johnny Cash, and you were a little bit sceptical, and then you went and listened to Johnny Cash and realised that he was someone you had a feeling for, an affinity with.
That's very true. Yeah, I was 14 years old and I was visiting my grandma and my granddad, and I had a Marilyn Manson T-shirt on that said, "I am the god of fuck." And he said to me, he says, "What are you doing wearing that? You don't want to listen to that crap. Listen to some Johnny Cash." And I said, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's old people's music, you know. But then when I got older, you know, and I realised, you know, yeah, and I connected with it now. But now that I'm understanding, but I mean, yes, my granddad had Johnny Cash. For me, it was Nirvana, you know. But now, you know, I'm really, I'm sure there's someone out there, but I'm really struggling, you know, to find an artist for a new generation that's speaking out, you know, speaking out for the voiceless and those that aren't heard, you know.
You recently did European dates with the Street Dogs. I did. How did your songs go down over there? In Germany and wherever else you played?
It was great. It was totally great. I mean, I know maybe there's like a language barrier or something, but I don't really... It's going to sound so cliche. Music is a universal language, you know, so, you know, it doesn't even matter if you don't understand what someone's saying. It's for feeling, you know, and it's that feeling, you know, judging from what people have told me after the shows, definitely resonates with the audiences, and it's been great, very positive feedback.
And when are you off to Canada? That's imminent, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm going next week. I'm going the day after the record's been released, yeah, and I'm going over there with a band called the Mahones. So it's part of the same kind of family, yeah.
They're sort of Pogues type, Canadian version of the Pogues in a way.
Yeah, they're kind of like an Irish punk band, but as far as I know, they were kind of one of the first ones. They were one of the pioneers to do it, really, and it was like the sort of other bands like Real Mackenzies or Dropkick Murphys that followed afterwards, or so the Mahones legend says. Anyway, I don't know. I'll find out. I'll ask him.
Yeah, I mean, is that the first time in the North American continent for you?
I've never been outside of mainland Europe. I went to Gran Canaria once, but I don't know if that counts. Yeah, so it's my first time. It's my first time. And I'm really, really excited. I've got no idea what it's going to be like. The drummer from the Mahones said there's going to be a lot of wide open spaces that might freak me out, but whatever.
I know you did a joint project with Jenny Wu, who's a Canadian.
Oh, yeah.
Chinese-Canadian skinhead girl, is that right?
Yeah.
How did that go?
Well, working with Jenny was an incredible experience. I mean, we've got a lot in common, you know, we come from a lot of the same places, so it definitely felt like a natural progression for us to collaborate on Stand Strong together as well. And going back to what we were saying about, you know, the divides, you know, the divides between people, you know, it's like, you know, there's been a divide between punks and skins, you know, and where, you know, punks are demonised in the media to be a certain way, you know, to be like glue sniffers and dull scum or whatever, you know, and skinheads are, you know, portrayed by the media to be thugs or criminals or, you know, or whatever, you know. So, you know, so by working on the song Stand Strong together, you know, we're basically saying none of this matters, you know, and it's not real, and we have to unite against the real enemy. Yes. Yeah, so.
We've spoken quite a lot about the things that annoy you, the things you get angry about. But I wanted to ask you, what makes you laugh?
What makes me laugh?
Or who makes you laugh?
You made me laugh.
Oh, thank you.
You made me laugh today. What made me laugh? Oh, we were talking about it in the car actually earlier. This made me laugh. It's a story actually about. It's a story for the album when we were making the record, because we were listening to the track "Love Me the Way I Am," and producer Steve says, "Oh, we need some African drums or something," and then so we were experimenting. And we were like, "Yeah, okay, we need African drums." Then we're thinking, where the hell are we going to get these African drums from? We don't know any punk rockers who play African drums, so we were like, right, fuck this, we're off to the pub, we're annoyed, you know. So we went to this pub called the Northbrook, and we walked in, and lo and behold, there's a guy playing African drums. So that makes me laugh.
In Lee, the Norfolk in Lee?
Is that where it is? I think, is that right? Yeah, I think that's where it is. Yeah. And it was just so weird, and I've been told about, you know, the punk rock history of his place and all the gigs that used to happen, and how there were teeth stuck in the walls or something, and it's like, whoa, like the stars have just completely aligned. And anyway, so I met this guy called Dave, of course. His name's Dave. So then he came down to the studio and he played some African drums. Like, so that makes me laugh. You know, just weird coincidences, stuff like that, you know. I don't know. Shall I play the song?
Yeah, please do.
I'm talking
Please
about
do.
it. Yeah, okay. So this is Love Me The Way. Walk in shadows alone, carefully walking on cold, dark, broken stones, stripped down and alone. Something screams inside, bitter truth denied. Black cat grows cold. Crimes of hate bleed sacred scars. Freedom and justice for race, gender, and class. Pride in who I am. Pride in who I am. Open your eyes, what can you see? Closing your heart won't set you free. Love me the way that I am. Open your eyes, what can you see? Closing your heart won't set you free. Love me the way that I am. Love me the way that I am. Equal rights aren't special rights. When you let go of who you are, you become who you will be. Open your eyes, what can you see? Closing your heart won't set you free. Love me the way that I am. Open my eyes, now I can see. Open arms mean more to me. Broken black hearts won't set you free. Salvation, liberty. Love me the way that I am. Love me the way that I am. Walking shadows, walking shadows, walking shadows alone.
Thank you. Is that a track from the new album?
It is. It's track 3 actually. Yeah.
What do people say to you when they come up to you after a show they've enjoyed it? What do the people have you come up and say you've touched me in some way? I relate to what you're doing.
Sorry. That was a real bad joke.
Hey, you're the home of bad jokes. You're talking to me.
I mean, it's definitely mixed responses. I mean, from all different kinds of people, but generally the response is that somebody has felt something, which is important, you know, because music, you know, is so insipid nowadays, you know, and it's never been my intention to sing about the latest shoes that are out, or handbags, or boyfriends, or whatever, you know. So it really, really means a lot to me that people can connect and feel something when they listen to the music. And also, I mean, one thing I remember a few people have said to me actually before, they said, Louise, you're too angry, you need to turn it down. Is this the House of Commons or a punk show? You're too angry. And I was just like, oh my God. I was like, well, I said, do you not realise that what you're saying, and the notion that art and politics has nothing to do with each other, is in fact a political position in itself? And then he just looked like his brain melted.
I mean, punk was pretty angry back in the day. There's no getting away from that.
Yeah, well, it's art's an expression.
Yeah.
It's an expression, so it should convey whatever emotions you want it to convey.
How do you keep it real? I mean, I don't want to sound like an old cynic now, but back when me and your producer, Mr. Whale, were youths, we listened to The Clash and we loved The Clash, Newtown Neurotics, Redskins, all these different bands, and you thought, yeah, this is it, we're part of this is great.
Yeah.
Nothing really changed. Is it just music in the background? Is that all punk? Is that all protest punk can ever be? Or can it actually change things, apart from people's heads?
Well, I mean, I really don't like that label, protest punk.
No, okay.
But
using it as shorthand for the moment.
There was a conversation I had with somebody actually at a show recently, and they said to me, music can't change the world, Martin Luther King didn't give this speech because so-and-so wrote a song, it was the other way around. And I just thought, oh, God, that's just so cynical for me, And for me, music can change the world. It already has changed the world, and it will continue to change the world in whatever way. Music's changed my world. It's changed many other people's worlds. It's like, sometimes, you might be having the worst day of your life, the most depressing day ever, and you can listen to one song, and it'll get you out of bed, and it'll get you out of bed where you can face the day, or it can give somebody hope, or whatever it is. So who is anybody to say that music can't change the world? I think they're full of shit.
You're off, you got the album out, you're off to Canada. How far beyond that have you planned? What's next for Louise Distras?
What's next? Well, obviously everything you just said. When I get back from Canada, I'm going to be going back to Germany actually, which is great because I love Germany. I'm playing a couple of shows with Coxsparrow, which is going to be amazing.
In December, are they?
Yeah, in December. Yeah, one's in Nuremberg, and then the other one's in Hamburg.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to that. I really like those guys, so that's going to be really
great songs.
Cool.
Coxsparrow.
Yeah, they're great songs. And then. Other than touring as much as possible, being on the road as much as possible and promoting the album as much as possible, I guess really nobody knows what's going to happen to them, so I'm just really happy to be living each day it comes and as it comes and passing on the message the best I can on my own terms, really, because, some people think, oh, the true meaning of success is fame and being rich and all this, it's not. It's living your life on your own terms and, and trying to inspire other people to do the same. Well, that's what it means to me anyway. So, yeah.
Louise, thank you very much for doing the show today.
Thank you.
If you want to take us out with a song, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, I think I'm going to play an angry song. Yeah.
For a change.
Yeah, for a change. Yeah, I'm going to play the last track on Dreams from a Factory Floor, and it's called People of the Abyss, and it was inspired by the book of the same name, People of the Abyss, which was by socialist writer Jack London in the early 1900s. Yeah.
Thank you.
You write your song and tell an eternal tale of slavery in your bitterest voice. Rich man, rich life, stripped bare, you pay by your poverty. Your sun knows no sky. Your rags, they're riches. In your sorrow, they take pride. nation to its knees. Thank you.
This has been the Gary Bushell Show on wonderful Radio Latopia. Check us out at latopia.tv/Gary.
He's just fantastic.
Yeah, no doubt about it.